Hey there, Stacy here. That Thanksgiving moon and beyond has been pretty intense for a lot of people, and the only way that I can put this is that it's as if we've all lived on the edge of a volcano, and we all knew it was there. We all were comfortable living there. We all trusted the volcano, even though we knew that it was pretty potentially dangerous. And then it erupted, and we are feeling the burn. So that which has been under the surface of our subconscious or our vibration or our relationships or our jobs, whatever it is, that which has been under the surface is come to the surface, and we are faced with facing it. There's no getting out of facing it. So a lot of people are doing the work to stay sane at this time. There's a lot of energy flying around. There's a lot of things that people are having to look at that they don't believe that they're ready to face. And in that, it's, in trying to stay sane, I'm ridiculously doing the work over here to filter, so to speak, what's going on the planet right now. And I'm sure that you are too. So if you are, I want to be here with you, and I want to share something that came to me last night, because it's been work. I've been having to work at staying sane, and based on the emails and the texts and the messages and the questions that I've gotten, I know that there are a lot of people out there who are going through it right now pretty seriously. So what I realized about myself, which might be relevant to you, is that I actually, as an empath, when I bring up shame in somebody else, whatever that reason is for, whether it's their jealousy, whether it is their, they feel like I'm taking their will because I'm getting something that they think that they want, or whether it is, me having a philosophy that totally is not in alignment with them. And I've had some people reach out to me with things like that, too, which is quite funny because people are triggered and want to trigger. So that's the ironic thing. There's this serious space of clashing going on in the universe right now, and making us face the clash instead of letting it be under the belly, so to speak, of our lives. So when I bring up shame in somebody else who's unwilling to feel it, which is very reminiscent of my entire life, but when I bring up shame in somebody else who's unwilling to feel it in themselves, I feel it for them. And I'm trying to decipher what's going on, whose is what right now. It's a very challenging time, and I know based on my messages that a lot of you are going through exactly that same thing. And actually, this is the first day in weeks that I felt, willing to expand in this regard, because it has been pretty contractual by nature to be in this space. But actually, the expansion is our medicine, and I know that you know that, but that is what came to me last night so clearly. What came to me is that, first of all, I'm a student of A Course in Miracles. And as I'm doing the work, this it wouldn't stop pulsating through my head. And it's this phrase that says, nothing beyond you can make you loving or fearful, because nothing is beyond you. So as an empath, I'm going, okay. So, but I feel that shame. Okay, well, you are a sister to that shame. You are that God source that shame exists in, but really, truthfully, that shame is nothing. So I'm going to try to make something very complex quite simple, but it might sound contradictory by nature. So what came to me is I love to speak in metaphor, and that when we come into the planet, we are the center of the circle. We are born into source energy, period. And we know our oneness, we need our oneness, we are connected to our oneness, and that is the will of nature. That's the will of everything versus nothing, okay? So duality exists because we believe in it, because we see it. And this planet is actually a very dualistic planet because of the density on it. And a lot of people actually right now with the density are kind of floating off into space in their heads, being all sorts of in our egos, going what the hell is going on? I don't have my feet on the ground. So there's a lot of us who are working to ground right now on the planet with that kind of okay, I know that duality isn't a real thing, so I can escape it. But that's not what I came here to do. I came to help the planet at large escape it by being here on the planet, not escaping it with source energy, in the dualism, so to speak. So we are the center of the circle. We are source energy. And then we move out to 2 levels, let's just say. And the furthest level, so to speak, out is ultimate ego. It's like, you know, the second level is a bit of ego mixed with a bit of source, which that's where we exist in duality. Right there is the second layer. So if you look at it, and we are born into this, and then we go into this like dualistic, like, okay, I'm using my ego to try to have a transactional relationship with source. Or I am a co-creator, which is true, but I am a co-creator in these ways that I think I should manifest through kind of manipulating spirit instead of having a relationship with spirit. And then we move out here, which is just like ultimate isolation, total ego, no way to even think outside of ourselves. It's just like, I'm lonely and I can't find anything to connect to. And really, the only place we can ever go on the planet, even though we can like skip into other people's channels and it will always be inauthentic to us, the only place that we were meant to be in our true nature, is on our specific channel. And a lot of us come out here to our ego and feel so disconnected from this channel. But if we're utilizing the channel to pull source energy forward into the expansion. So most of us, when we're all the way out here, we feel terrified. We're like on our edge. We're like, oh my God, I have no idea what's going on. And the edge isn't scary when you come out to the edge backed by source energy, right? The edge is fun when you're backed by source. But when you go out to the edge and you're super in your ego going, oh my God, I'm facing the nothingness and I'm not connected to anything that's backing me. That's ultimate space of like fear, ego, and desperation. And in that space, it's so easy for people to just project all of that, like what they do not have, that's that lack of source energy, which they do have, which we do have. It's just so easy in times to forget, specifically times like this, when the whole planet's like up in arms. When we are backed by that source energy, when we pull that source energy outward, we will be facing the nothingness, expanding source energy into it to make it into everything, right? And that is how we are creators. That's how we're creators. But those of us who've either had our will taken from us or watched other people use their will maliciously and still get away with it, I think we come to these points where we learn the law of attraction. We learn, we've always been connected to source. That's not something you ever really had to learn. But when you learn the law of attraction, you're like, oh my God, I can utilize this. Like, this is part of the power. This is part of my authority. And then when we are using it, we're actually using it with a mix of ego and a mix of, and a mix of source, but we're looking at source from the ego and going, okay, you help me. Okay, you help me. If you do this, then I'm going to do this in return, or then I'll believe in you, whatever it is. But when we step fully into the source energy, where it's just like, okay, I'm tuned into my channel, I'm backed by source, even if I can't feel it because I feel all the way out here, I'm gonna pull source to me, right? Instead of me going like, source, come to me, save me, figure me out. It's like, you have your channel. When you get into your channel fully, and this is literally done by the decision alone, to go like, okay, I tune directly into the channel that I came to be this time around the rodeo, this position on the angle of the God self, so to speak. I'm fully attuned to that. And I choose to be supported by that source energy backing me. I've chosen, here's the thing, guys, we've chosen this edge, right? We just feel alone on it, and we're like, what the hell? There's nothing on the other side of that. I'm going to jump into oblivion if I jump, and I'm alone. Nobody's even here to watch me die. That's what it feels like to be ultimately in your ego. But we've chose the edge that we've come to, and the edge wants to even pull us further. It's really up to us to choose to say, I am backed by God in a way that is surrendered, right? It's not this, okay, well, I'm co-creating. Yes, we are co-creators. But when we really get to the space of, I am a co-creator, and what that actually means is that my will is God's will. And I've already chosen my will, so there's nothing left that I have to do. I don't have to manipulate the matrix. I don't have to do anything. other than surrender to my truest nature. That space of surrender is the grace that pulls source energy out into these, you know, from source energy to the dualism, to the ego that's like super lonely, lost in the opposite end of source, you know, that dualism. But ultimately, all we have to do is choose to be backed by source, choose to trust that we're backed by source, and that requires faith, ultimately. But guys, I want you to just visualize, if you're feeling super lost and on the cliff, and it feels like you're about to jump and you're about to die, because you can't figure out what the hell is going on, and you keep questioning yourself. That's another thing that a lot of people keep saying, I keep questioning myself. This hasn't been my journey this time around the rodeo with this moon cycle, but if you are questioning yourself, my love, look to source, your source inside of you. Look to it as if it's the center of a circle and go, what is my answer? And answer yourself. It doesn't matter if your ego argues with the answer. Answer yourself by action. Be the verb. Okay, so if you're going, okay, well, the other day I actually, after somebody emailed me and said she kept questioning herself, I wrote to her that morning I was super late. I was already pissed off and frantic, and I had to go somewhere that I had already missed an appointment for a couple weeks ago, and there's never any parking spots close. So I was gonna have to park in the parking garage far away, and I was on my way there, and I'm like, Stace, you know better than to continue down this rabbit hole of like being pissed off and that you're gonna be late. Like, just see the damn parking spot that you want. And I visualized the parking spot I wanted. And I know that it's so cliche to say this, but dude, it's so giving when we need that. It wasn't a transactional relationship in that moment. I was really going, okay, I have a relationship with this source, and this relationship provides for me. It shows to me. It's not something that I have to manipulate. It's something all I have to do is surrender to. And I literally for 3 seconds stepped into that vibration. I'm going to get the parking spot I want. And there was 3 in exactly the spot that I wanted. Okay. So answer yourself. We are in a space of questioning. We're on a space of isolation, and feeling the emptiness. Answer yourself, my love, because you are in there. You are in there, and it comes from getting all the way back into that source energy and being willing to expand it out, being backed by God, not backed by the ego, and not projecting your ego onto other people's egos. I think that that's a big thing that's coming up right now too. So, and thank you so much to those of you who will feel it. God, thank you for feeling it with me and for you and for them. Thank you for feeling all of the things that they won't let themselves feel. All right, I love you guys. Bye.